Yo, Bombhole, Sean Fitzsimons here. Charles, how you doing? So hyped they got you on the podcast. Cannot wait to listen. I got a guest question for you. So I've hit a lot of your wedges. You've built some pretty big dogs, and I've hit a fair amount of them, and I've flat-backed a fair amount of them, and I've come out relatively unscathed. I know there's a lot of math that you do that goes behind making these jumps safe. My guest question is, what's the math behind that? And if you're down to show some diagrams, I always thought they're really interesting when you were showing me, like, just the math of the jumps, the lip to landing, angles, and everything that goes into it. So a rider like myself can flat back and feel pretty good after. Cheers, brother. Cannot wait to listen. And, hopefully catch you soon. Shoot.
What a legend. Yeah, I love that kid. He's, one of the funnest ones out there. Fuck, man. I've seen him take some beltings. Sometimes he's hitting that shit like it's an airbag. But
and he's a flipper, so when it goes south, it goes really south.
Yeah. His triples are the sickest, though. Like his frontside triples, like even just watching him at X Games last week, just the way he comes around, it's so blind and he just does not look like he gives a fuck. It's awesome. So the math, I guess, like I try and build them. I still build them like I'm going to hit them in my head. Like while I'm shaping them, like probably going to go off this and that knuckle shouldn't fuck me up. I don't want it to ruin my day. I'll usually build the knuckles like when I'm winching the landing. Like I'll get the landing, say like 38, 39 degrees, like really big and steep. And then as I'm coming over the knuckle, like I'll make sure I bring snow up over onto the deck. So like if you came up like 10 feet short, there's a grace period where it's like slightly tapering down. And because the jump's not a huge step down, like it's, basically true table, most of them, like you can survive that. Like I've knuckled on front three on a 65-foot jump I built like last year, and I just stayed on my feet and rode out of it, went back around and sessioned the rest of the day. But it's like, just trying to make everything so it feels safe. Like you want the sweet spot to basically feel like there is no impact. Like you should be able to kind of land in a manual if you wanted to. I mean, don't always get them that precise, but I mean, majority of the time I can kind of get them in that range where it just feels like if you take a beating, like you're just sliding out of it. And I mean, Mark Morris, like I built so many jumps for him over the years, and he was like, just tell me I don't need an airbag if I have you building a jump, because like if you land the sweet spot upside down, you just slide out and you go up and do it again. But it's just matching those transitions.
Is there math involved, or are you eyeballing it? Because Sean kept making it sound like there was all kinds of math going on. Yeah,
he's giving me way too much credit. I just I will measure. Like I'll build the landing. Always build the landing first. Get it up as high as you can. Usually to the point where you're basically going to tap out on snow. Like you just get that thing tall, wide. Get to the angle. Like I usually try and hit about 38 degrees, 39, somewhere around there, on the big ones. And then like as far as like the one thing that is crucial and I feel like gets overlooked a lot is like the length of the takeoff for the length of the gap you're trying to clear. And like that's dictated to, like if it's a step down jump, you don't need as much speed. So if you look at the deck as like 100%, then you take off, you probably want about 80, 75% kind of like same length, like similar length. And then, as you go into the big ones, like true tables where you're going to carry more speed or step ups, then you get more in that 1-to-1 range. So maybe like a 60-foot jump has a 60-foot lip from like the flat bottom to the exit angle. And then through that is like that consistent radius that, as you're slowing down, your board stays with the same amount of pressure on it as the ramp kind of increases. So like just that radius over that length to hit your angles is kind of what I look at, just so that you can hit a big jump and not feel like you're getting spat out of a cannon. Like the one at X Games was 39 degrees and some people were asking for more up, which is nuts because it just felt like they were getting there really easily and really comfortably.
Because it was drawn out.
Yeah, and that draw out is kind of like, what gets you load, what gets you snap to your triples and things like that. But, you don't have to be doing all those tricks. So you can still do the 3s and the 5s and the fun shit. It's just more about the flight curve now.
So Sean was saying something about, not a circle radius, but a spiral radius. I was lost. Is that
Oh yeah.
what's going on with that? Because
let's dive in.
let's do also like first grade math.
Yeah.
Dumb it down.
Yeah.
Just for the listeners, not me
So
and Chris.
if you cut like a quarter out of a circle, technically you're bored.
I'm following.
As you went up that radius, like it's the same radius the whole way. So it'd feel less pressure on your edges. You might feel the G's more in the bottom of that transition because you're hauling ass before you start slowing down. And then when you look at like a spiral, what we mean by a spiral is like if it's like if you drew like a big spiral kind of tightening up as it kind of winds into itself, and then taking a section out of that, that's kind of like that's that consistently tightening radius. There's no point where it wraps like, quicker and then backs off. It's consistent the whole way through, gradually tightening as it goes. So that's what I try to look for with the lips.
Do we have some drawings we could put on the screen for this for visual learners?
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Okay. You do.
I'll go on my phone.
Yeah.
I'll sketch it up. But yeah, I mean, I did it in Mammoth. Like the guys in Mammoth are super fucking open about, they want to know, like, my theories on jumps, and everyone, like park builders are all the same. Like we just want to like learn from each other, and just try and like see what other people are liking, and what the general trends are. And with the jump stuff, like the guys at Mammoth asked me, and I did this sketch, and I've kept it on my phone ever since, because I'm just like, if anyone wants it, I just give it to them. And there's just less and less experienced park builders floating around now, so it's like we kind of need to make that information more accessible, just to try and get people up to speed quicker, because it feels like a lot of park builders, they start in their early mid-20s. By the time they're like late 20s, early 30s, like they're really useful and they're good, but then they have kids and mortgages and have to go get real jobs, I guess. So it kind of like stunts the talent in the industry a lot, because before people used to stick with it a lot longer. And I would go to places like, I'd travel all the way to like America to do a season at Score to be around someone like Brandon. But like trying to find those people in those programs to like mentor you, it's getting harder. So I've been trying to do something with Prenoth recently where...
That's a cat company for the record.
Oh yeah, so Prenoth is a cat company I have a partnership with. They support me in a lot of my projects and the camps. So basically like I'll help them with their social media and marketing and things like that, and they look after me with cats. So I get like a cat shipped in, which is incredibly lucky. Before events and things like that, they'll ship a nice new, Stage 5 Bison X winch, which is like the Swiss Army knife for park building, and they send that in there, track it up before I get there. I use it for the build. I fly out, they track it up and send it on to the next job. So like I'm incredibly lucky. Woo, the partnership we have with them. Woo. Yeah.
That's
and
so cool.
That ain't bad.
Yeah. I thought getting free snowboards was cool, but that is like fucking hits different.
Yeah, free cats.
Going back to the jumps too, the one thing I've noticed, like when I ride bad park jumps, I said this on the air a million times, like sometimes I'm like, do I even know what I'm doing? Like when, and what I've realized is that generally when I'm having a hard time on a park jump, there's generally just not that much snow. Like it seems like for a really good park jump, you just need a fucking massive pile of snow to really do what you're trying to do, right?
Oh, totally. I mean, it just comes down to it. It's like if it's not tall enough, it's like when people try to force the angles, it kind of G's out pretty hard for the riders, or you end up with like a short, flattish landing, and it's hard to land tricks because the impact's a lot. So I mean, and you go home sore as fuck. So it's really a good park jump does take a bit of snow or earthworks and snow, like to get the big ones. But I mean, yeah, you can build like a good 30-foot jump with not a huge amount of snow as well. Like there's ways to do it for sure. But back to that Prenoth thing, just quickly, they're trying to get me, like we've been talking about doing like time-lapse videos of builds, whether it's like a jump start to finish, because there's everything on YouTube, how to, but not that stuff. So I think we're at that period where it's like we need to start like doing tutorials on like how to build a jump start to finish, how to set a rail, a down rail, like flat box, all that kind of shit. And just, don't have to get on a plane to the other side of the world to try and be around someone that knows what they're doing. You can just like learning your own little hill in Norway or where you're at tucked away. You don't have to leave the nest, you know.